Today, Gordon and two of his colleagues are visiting the wine-producing town, Soave, in Italy.
Very, very nice. Better like that Chris on the side profile. Very, very nice.
From time to time, we're always being asked and invited by suppliers, especially wine suppliers, to go away for the weekend. And the thought of travelling away, after working so hard, 16 hours a day, for the rest of the week, sounds sometimes like a busman's holiday. But having the chance to come somewhere like Soave, just outside Verona, in an absolute stunning setting, take a relaxing walk through the village, up into the castle, travel through the vineyards and look at some of the stunning views, enjoy the quiet surroundings, it was just a fantastic getaway.
What? You've been around the vineyards before?
Soave had a reputation many years ago just for mass production of wine, which you could find on all supermarket shelves, a very sort of rough-edged wine, very cheap. Today there's far more refined wines to be found in the heart of Soave. One in particular is Piropan, and this was the chateau that we had the chance to visit. And we spent time with Nino Piropan, eating and tasting some of his most exceptional wines that he's produced over many years.
When was the last time you came here?
In September.
Delicious.
Buonissimo, Nino.
One thing that's always so great is the reception they put on. A very traditional family gathering. And even though I was with Marcus, Christof and Thierry, and it was their first visit, they were made to feel incredibly welcome and almost within 10 or 15 minutes, part of the family.
This is 84.
Oh, really?
Soave Classico.
Wow.
Dopo ho aperto, che avevo io nella mia cantina, un Capitale Corso 89 e abbiamo imparato da Dora dell'88.
Sì?
84. How are you?
Ciao, Teresita.
Ti ricordi Gordon?
Sì, ci siamo già visti.
Marcus.
Ciao.
Thierry.
Ciao, Vera.
Ciao.
Christof.
Ciao, come va? Tutto bene? Ciao. Teresita. Tagliamo dei pezzetti. Facile.
Piropan are the only people you're going to find who actually have old vintages of Soave like this, because they're the only family in the Soave region who have been producing quality Soave for generations. The bulk producers never did, so to find a 1984, and this is just a straight Classico,
Really?
absolutely a rarity.
It's brilliant. Very, very good. What do you think, Jay?
It's unique. I mean, I never tried the one like that before. It's similar to an Alsace wine, but much complexity in the palate.
Thierry is responsible for purchasing all our wine at the restaurant, maybe anything from £750,000 to £1 million a year, buying wines from all over the world.
È toujours une surprise pour nous, parce que nous...
Alongside Thierry is Christof, who is one of my managers, and has been with me now for 3 years. We were taken to Soave by one of our suppliers by the name of Inotria Wines. Our hosts were Eric and Tara, and were made to feel incredibly special. And we stepped into these wine producers' private home, and we had the chance to try some of the most outstanding wines from Nino's private collection.
Ecco, io, Roberto e Marilisa.
Fantastic.
These three are all local, apart from the Parmesan and the Gorgonzola.
This one is there?
Sì,
They're all
questo
from mountains.
si chiama Monte Veronese.
Veronese.
È un formaggio delle nostre montagne qui veronesi.
So from the actual mountains
Really?
of Verona.
For lunch, we were trying some local cheeses from in and around Soave and the Verona district.
Che si trova in una montagna, a Giazza ad esempio, Giazza è la
So it's
località.
from a tiny community up in the mountains, so smaller
e che appunto hanno mantenuto anche certe loro tradizioni. Sì. Il paese ha due lingue, l'italiano e il cimbro. Sì.
It's quite insular, and they speak two languages in this tiny kind of area, this village. Italian and then their own language, which is different even to Italian dialect. It's called cimbro as well. Marcus, do you want some cheese?
Okay. Yes, please.
Sì, questo qui è passato in barrica.
C'est bon le petit sarti sul quello?
Mentre il mio Soave classico è solo acciaio. Questo, se no la rocca, quello è passato in botte normale da barrica.
Thierry, our wine expert, was overexcited and continued to have an absolute brilliant day. But the only trouble is, he refused to let any go. In other words, he didn't spit it out.
High in acidity, very oily, buttery. But very well balanced. It's very fresh.
It's got a nice kind of nutty.
He told me it was too good to waste, and he certainly wasn't going to be throwing any of this away.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Very deep and rich in the smell, isn't it?
Lovely cheese. Lovely cheese.
This is 89. Is this 89?
89, yeah. It's more confit, more buttery.
Normalmente lui lo vende negli Stati Uniti, capite accorgi, cioè è un vino che ha fatto per...
Ask to look at Christof Jumper.
I said earlier. Basta che guardi il manuale che sta indossando
da Siberia.
Per noi questo è come estate, la nostra estate mancante.
Ho sentito che l'estate scorsa...
James.
Sì.
E l'altro?
Ha meno freschezza, però magari è più ricco,
Però lì, questo assaggiare, sapendo che sia è 84.
Et some dépôts là, pas de sometime, you know, it's all bottle. So you check the color, try it, and then you smell.
Non tutte. Comunque
Thierry was taking lots of notes. He's got his own code that no one else can crack, concentrating on noting the flavours of the wine, and what a wonderful way to kick off our weekend in Soave.
52 non sono state annate da dire le tengo per molto
E
tempo.
degli anni 80, qual è stata la...
Prima degli anni 80
What is the history behind this one, Tara?
Palazzo della Torre is it's made by Allegrini. It's from Valpolicella, and it's predominantly Corvina, and it's made it's made in the ripasso technique, where they use the grapes that have been dried and used to make Amarone. Then they take those grapes and they pass this over it again, so you get a bit of the kind of the raisin,
combination.
and the depth, and adds a bit of structure.
You may think watching this now that this is a classic wine tasting, but no, sorry, you're wrong. This is just a brief lunch, having a few sips of the hidden secrets of Nino's cellar. The official wine tasting's coming up. God help us.
Delicious.
Very spicy.
It is, yeah. Very. Very good. So fragrant.
After a very interesting lunch, tasting some brilliant wines from Nino's private cellar, we had to tackle this narrow staircase to get up into the place where he keeps the jewels in the crown, where his grapes dry, and where the start of making this fantastic wine takes place.
What they do is they select by hand the very ripe and the bunches of garganaga, which are actually the loosest bunches. So there's room for air to circulate in between the actual grapes on the bunch.
Wow.
Those are picked by hand. Then they're spread on these drying mats. But he said you have to be very careful when you lay them out that you don't break the skins of the grapes at all, and that way they can start to dry. E per quanto tempo rimangono?
qui resta fino alla fine di febbraio, prima di marzo.
So these will stay here until
I've never
the
pretended
end of,
in any shape or
February
form
99.
to make out that I have a vast knowledge of wine, and that's why, one of the reasons, 5 years ago, I employed a very talented young sommelier, Thierry, at the age of 19. He was crowned the best young sommelier at under 21 level in France. But spending these 2 days in Soave and seeing the amount of effort and dedication that Nino and his wife put into their production has really opened my mind and opened my eyes to properly understand the attention to detail they have to have I have my extreme passion for flavours. It's matched by their extreme passion for fine wine.
This special rot that concentrates the sugar and the water in the grape reduces, and that's where you get that rich sweetness. With the production of straight Soave Classico, the grapes are always destemmed because that prevents the bitter tannins from the stalks from coming into the wine. Whereas with these grapes, if we came back here in February, all you would be able to see are these shriveled raisin-like grapes on their stems. So these are pressed with their stems because it actually means that the concentrated must can come out more easily without actually losing any of its healthiness.
Le casse vengono portate nella pressa attraverso uno scivolo, vengono messe in una pressa pneumatica, che è quella che serve anche per il
So
Soave.
everything's taken from the trays manually. They use gravity to slide the grapes down into the press, which is a very soft pressing, so that the grapes are being treated very, very lightly, so that you're not breaking them, you're not making them suffer in any way. The must is pressed, and then the free flow is taken down, and it's put into large oak botti, which are the traditional Italian botti. They're massive, and they allow a certain amount of breathing, but they're not like the French barriques, the small barriques. They're very subtle. They don't actually impart any flavour.
È troppo facile farlo quando le annate sono
Nino's
pazze.
saying that
È un po' una sfida quella quando...
the problem of a quality producer is it's easy to produce a great wine in a great vintage, but where the talent of a really good quality producer comes out is producing a good wine from a very bad vintage. But he's saying that the lower acidity won't necessarily mean that the wines won't last as long as a wine from a great vintage, because he's going to try his damnedest to make sure that the wine he produces is excellent.
Hanno mai appoggiato chi fa solo 1000 bottiglie di questa Sì, ma io direi che molti italiani devono stare attenti a queste cose.
Sì, infatti.
C'est 1000 € pour les mots.
That's when they actually harvest
Et bouge pas que ça bouge pas. Attention cela. Bouge pas. Voilà, tous les deux. Non, arrêtez, regarde. Encore.
Nino explained that he's been slightly upset this season because of the hailstones that came down 6 months ago, which destroyed half his crop. But just to see the way he lays out in each individual bunch of grapes on those trays drying, they're going to be there right through till next March, April, for about 5.5 months drying. And it's just phenomenal the amount of work this guy puts into producing stunning wine. Each individual bunch of grape is selected, air is flowing throughout whilst drying, and it's just so tightly controlled. This is serious attention to detail, and it shows in the quality of his wine.
Puoi già tradurre, ma di
Okay. So this is the part of the cantina which is dedicated to his wood aging. La Rocca, you can see these big oak botties.
This is where we have yet another look behind the scenes, but this time going down into Nino's Aladdin's Cave. This is where the wine starts to be matured, put into these large cast oak botti.
Incredibilmente pulita.
Non è come le cantine francesi, quello di certo.
He says it's not like French wine.
Ne ho viste di quelle.
Bravo!
Ne ho viste di quelle.
Bravo!
Surtout la Bourgogne.
C'est vrai? Però...
Ah, c'est vrai.
Sistema vogliamo il bello, no? Però è questo locale, fermentazione
All hand carved.
C'est la famille. Is that the name? Leonida. No, Nino, Leonida.
After now spending just a couple of hours with Nino, you get to feel with him his respect, his understanding. He treats each individual cask almost like his family, and it's amazing to see how proud he is to take you down through his cellars and then finally into this wonderful private cellar where he's got a collection that he's been gathering now for over 35 years.
He's Nino's own personal cellar.
That's Nino's own personal cellar.
Yeah. And what's his favourite bottle?
Della tua cantina privata, qual è il tuo vino preferito?
Non ce l'ho qua perché io quello che preferisco di tutti è un Borgogna. Vino nero.
He hasn't got it here because it's a Burgundy.
Il produttore.
Il produttore. This is his private collection, and then over there is the aged bottles of his own wines.
Wow.
It's delicious from
Ma vuole sapere italiano, francese?
Had I left Thierry alone in Nino's private cellar, then he would have been like a pig in merde, as they say in French. Because it was absolutely fascinating. There were wines dating back to 1912. What a collection. And Thierry was absolutely astounded by this, and deeply saddened when we had to leave, because he was enjoying every minute of it. The question in our minds was, what kind of occasion would it take to open and crack some of these fine wines?
The more difficult it is, the grape to produce a good wine from, the more he admires the wine.
When you see Soave on a label, on a bottle of wine, sometimes you take it for granted, unless you've had the chance, like we've had, to actually visit Soave and really properly understand what goes on behind the scenes. Then it's no longer just a label, no longer just a name, it's a proper understanding and a true meaning.
Beautiful.
Un enopolio che vuole solo quantità.
The usual philosophy, if you want to produce quality wine, you have to reduce your yields drastically.
Right. Get quality grain.
Yeah.
Well, what was people owning around the place here? Is that a small family or is a big cooperative?
The average size of the property?
Sono cooperative queste.
Sì.
Ha piovuto tantissimo, ma hai fatto tanta pioggia.
How much more romantic can one setting get? A stunning castle, beautiful hillsides, fantastic restaurants as well.
It's almost like a perfect setting for Romeo and Juliet, and sadly I'm not with my wife, I'm with the lads. So, it's very exciting to be here. We've had a very educational afternoon. Tonight is a special evening because we've got a fantastic dinner cooked by the only 3 Michelin star chef in the world that happens to be female. And I'm really looking forward to that. And we're going to have a really nice selection of wines tonight with dinner from the local vineyards.
Sì, bravo, sì. Cominciamo a aprire.
The real business part of the day is starting now. It's just after 5 in the afternoon, and we're faced with more wines to taste. Serious wines. And Thierry is in his element. Cracking away at the corks, sniffing away, and trying to identify and remember each individual wine.
C'est où le toilette avec ça là? Toilette avec ça?
Happy now.
Self-satisfaction.
Oh, he's nice. No. I can even.
I look like Dominic when you do that.
At this stage, we were joined by another outstanding wine producer, Roberto Anselmi.
It's from a single vineyard.
Single vineyard.
Sì, ma è differente anche il suolo. Sì.
Roberto took over from his father back in the early 80s. And Roberto's father had a reputation for mass production of Soave, which was not of a very high standard. Since Roberto has taken over, he's been working at it for at least 15 to 16 years. He started to produce some of the most outstanding Soave.
So this is another single vineyard.
And we currently are running one of Roberto's sweet wines on our pudding list.
And this is 100% Garganica. So it's the only one of his vineyards which actually allows him to get the kind of harvest that he needs to get the complexity and the richness of this wine.
E questo premia anche un'espressione di
Saying, compared to the other wines, this is actually harvest.
The first one va veille.
Vediamo.
Ça devrait un peu. C'est un moment exotique.
Ha detto che ci manda una coppia dopo. Ci manda una coppia da casa.
Okay, Roberto,
Yes.
it's your turn.
Sì. I sleep.
Togliamo allora, eh? Ok.
Thierry was taking his notes throughout the whole day and was really trying to single out 3 or 4 individual Soave Classico that maybe could be on our wine list.
This is the San Vincenzo.
San Vincenzo is the name of my property. The guild.
So he's saying that the
It's more
Trebbiano
delicate, it's more...
is a grape that suffers a
sharp,
lot
first one.
at the hands
Very
of
sharp.
multiple
Yeah, this one's very
demand. Also, there are several types of Trebbiano in Italy.
È lo stesso uvaggio del Soave, solo che c'è una maggiore quantità di Trebbiano di Soave in selezione su un vigneto particolare che è il Calvarino.
So this is a single vineyard wine made from the same grapes as Soave, but with a different percentage. So there's more Galgano.
Incredibly relaxed, very, very happy, not a care in the world. It could be the end of a perfect day. But no, there's more to come. Dinner at a 3-star Del Pescadore.